Have you ever wondered what it would be like to stumble upon a creature straight out of folklore? What if that creature was just a child, lost and heartbroken? Today, we're diving into a story that blurs the lines between myth and reality. A tale of compassion that unfolded deep within the dense forests of the Pacific Northwest. This isn't your typical Bigfoot sighting with blurry photos and shaky cams. This is a story about a chance encounter, a broken toy, and an unexpected emotional connection. Our story begins with a seasoned hiker named Ethan, a man who had spent decades exploring the most remote corners of North America. From majestic eagles to elusive mountain lions. But nothing could have prepared him for what he found on a misty morning in late autumn. He was navigating a rarely used trail, far from any sign of civilization, when a strange sound cut through the silence of the woods. It wasn't the call of a bird or the rustle of a deer. It was a sound he recognized instantly, a sound that transcends species. The sound of weeping. Cautiously, Ethan moved towards the source of the sound. He pushed aside a large fern and froze. There, sitting on a moss-covered log, was a small, hairy creature, no taller than a human toddler. It was covered in thick, matted brown fur, and its large, dark eyes were filled with tears that streamed down its ape-like face. It was, for lack of a better word, a baby Bigfoot. Ethan's heart pounded in his chest. Every instinct told him to run, to get away from the unknown. But the creature's sobs were so genuinely full of despair, so childlike, that his fear was replaced by an overwhelming sense of pity. He stayed hidden, observing from a distance. The little creature was clutching something in its hands. As Ethan squinted, he realized what it was. A small, plastic action figure. The kind you'd find in a kid's toy box. It was old and weathered, clearly having been lost in the woods for a long time. But what was more striking was that it was broken. One of the toy's arms was snapped off, lying on the ground beside the log. The baby Bigfoot would occasionally pick up the broken arm, try to reattach it, and then let out another heart-wrenching sob when it failed. Ethan was stunned. This legendary cryptid, this mythical beast, was crying over a broken toy. It wasn't a monster, it was a child. He watched for what felt like an eternity as the little Sasquatch mourned its tiny plastic friend. It was a profoundly moving sight, a moment of pure, unfiltered emotion that defied everything he thought he knew about the world. He realized this creature experienced sadness and attachment, just like any human child would. The broken toy wasn't just a piece of plastic. It was a friend, a companion in its lonely world. Driven by an impulse he couldn't explain, Ethan slowly backed away, making sure not to make a sound. He hiked back to his camp, his mind racing. He rummaged through his backpack, his hands searching for something, anything. And then he found it. Tucked away in a side pocket was a small tube of superglue he always carried for gear repairs. It was a long shot, but he had to try. He also grabbed a small, brightly colored bouncy ball he kept as a good luck charm. With a plan forming in his mind, he made his way back to the clearing. The baby Bigfoot was still there, its sobs now quiet, whimpering sniffles. Ethan took a deep breath. He knew this was risky. What if its parents were nearby? What if it saw him as a threat? He decided to take the chance. He placed the superglue and the bouncy ball on a large, flat rock at the edge of the clearing, in plain sight of the little creature. Then, he retreated a safe distance, hiding behind the same cluster of ferns as before, and waited. For a long time, the baby Bigfoot didn't move. It just stared at the strange objects. Then, slowly, hesitantly, it shuffled off the log and crept towards the rock. It sniffed the tube of glue, tilting its head in confusion. It then nudged the bouncy ball with its nose, watching it roll a little. Curiosity seemed to be overcoming its grief. Finally, it picked up the broken action figure and the severed arm, and looked back and forth between the toy and the tube of glue Ethan had left. What happened next was something Ethan would replay in his mind for the rest of his life. The little creature, with a surprising level of dexterity, fumbled with the tube of glue. It seemed to mimic the way a person might use it, squeezing a small, sticky drop onto the broken arm. With intense concentration, it pressed the arm back onto the toy's shoulder and held it there. It sat perfectly still for several minutes, holding its broken friend together, as if willing the glue to work its magic. After a few tense moments, it gently let go. Te armehel, a soft, gurgling sound, almost like a happy coo, escaped its lips. It examined the mended toy, turning it over and over in its hands. The tears were gone, replaced by an expression of pure, unadulterated joy. It hugged the action figure to its chest, then looked directly towards the ferns where Ethan was hiding. Their eyes met for a split second. The baby Bigfoot didn't look scared. It looked grateful. It gave a small nod, a gesture so human-like it sent a shiver down Ethan's spine. Then, clutching its newly repaired toy and the bouncy ball, the little creature turned and ambled back into the dense undergrowth, disappearing as silently as it had appeared. Ethan stayed hidden for a long time, processing the incredible event. He hadn't captured a monster. He hadn't found a missing link. He had simply helped a child who was sad. He never told anyone his full story, knowing they wouldn't believe him. But he kept the memory, a secret reminder that compassion is a universal language, and that even in the deepest, darkest woods, you can find a heart that beats with the same emotions as your own. What do you think? Was this a genuine encounter, or just a trick of the light and a lonely hiker's imagination? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more unbelievable stories from the edge of our world.